It is at 6:20 right now. Before my tournament, I have slept like absolute crap. This thing is going to be a lifesaver today. I've slept for about, I don't know, probably less than 6 hours, and yeah, I get to play 4 games of chess at 45-second increment. Okay, I get a lifesaver. Typically, I can sleep in. I've been sleeping in until like, I don't know, probably 10 a.m. lately. But on the one day that I have a tournament, I can't sleep at night. I get to bed at like 12:30 and I wake up at 6. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, the one day that I need sleep. Oh well, we'll get through it. And I'm gonna bring you along with it, getting ready for the tournament, and then yeah, we'll go from there. We'll probably recap some games. So, I'm gonna start the day off by reading a couple pages of my Bible, doing some stretches, and of course, I've got my handy coffee. And then we're gonna get ready and presentable for the tournament because I look like a, I don't know what you would say, but I don't look good right now. I'm rocking the bedhead, so yeah, read a little bit, pray, and then we're gonna get into the fun stuff. I might even have time to do a little bit of puzzles, which could be good for this tournament to get my vision a little bit on point, but I have an hour drive ahead of me. It's gonna be a long day, but I'm excited. So we got a couple hours until check-in now. Not too bad. Not too bad. A couple hours. It's more than enough. Wake up and fill me with these coffee beans. Coffee beans. Can't speak this morning. Does anyone else have a coffee addiction? Because I drink like, I don't know, probably 3 of these a day. And so what I'm going to do throughout this video, we are going to be answering Q&A questions that I asked on my channel quite a while ago. But yeah, we're going to start answering them in this video just out of nowheres. And the first one comes from Heminai. The first question is, how do you cope with losing Elo? By throwing my chair out my window secretly. No, but for real, at the end of the day, you gotta realize that this magical number is just a number, and it's going to correlate to your strength over a period of time, so it's gonna fluctuate, and that's okay. And I also just realized that if you have a big run-up, you're destined to fall down a little bit. What goes up must come down. And that applies to so many other things. And that's why I love chess, because you can apply so many things that apply to chess to life as well. And yeah, I mean, it's just a game too. So, sure, it does make me feel like crap when I lose a bunch of velo, but I try not to let it affect my life. And his second question was, what do you do in your free time except chess? I didn't know chess players could have other hobbies. Chess takes so much time out of your day, and I'm just joking. I do other things. I'm pretty big into fitness, so I go to the gym. I train boxing, kind of ish. I mean, I haven't been to the boxing club in quite some time, but that's something I'm going to work on because I want to have another boxing match. I had one about a year from today, like a year ago, and I lost, which is okay, but I would like to get a win in my amateur boxing career. And also it keeps you in such great shape. If any of you guys are thinking about training in martial arts, it doesn't have to be boxing, it could be jiu-jitsu, anything. Highly recommend it. It'll keep you in shape. I was in the best shape of my life when I was training for my boxing event. I mean, it keeps you super disciplined when it comes to food, so you're not gonna be eating a bunch of junk because you're so obsessed with training. And it's one hell of a workout. Let's just say that. But yeah, no, I'm looking to get back into that, and I'm actually, yeah. Well, I guess that's chess. I was gonna say I'm gonna be running a chess club in my area, which is exciting. So that'll be an extra thing, but that's chess related. So, what else do I do? I like to go out for walks. Would you consider that a hobby? Probably not, but yeah, I like to get outside. You know, touch the grass a little bit, despite being super duper white. Yeah, I do go outside quite often, go for walks, try to keep myself active. I try to hit 10,000 steps a day. I know it's kind of like a silly little number, but yeah. All right, it's time to get presentable. Little flex doesn't hurt anyone. We got the Apex hat because we want to show them who they're messing with. All right. That's our next issue. We got the two essentials here. We're about to head out. I thought I would have time to do some puzzles, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure where this tournament is actually being placed, so I want to give myself like 30 minutes to try and find the place, you know. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but I get a little anxious when I don't know where somewhere is and I need to be there by a certain time. So it's time to head out. We gotta get some gas, aqua, coffee, bicep flex. We're ready to go. My windows are dirty, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, did I just hit a bird? I think I just hit a bird, guys. There was a bird on the ground. I hope I didn't. Oh man, that makes me sad. I love animals. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but Yeah, we're pulling up to the gas station now. We're gonna get some gas. And then we're off to the roads. By the way, if you were just interested in watching recaps and instead of watching my silly ass just run around, we'll have it timestamped so you don't have to deal with my foolishness. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna do anyways, but yeah, we're just doing a little bit of fun little clips. And with that said, we're gonna do another Q&A question. Let's see. This is a common one that I get. Very, very common question that I get from you guys. And it's asked from, I cannot pronounce that name. Zin. We're gonna call you Zin. Also, Levi Capeta also asked this question. What are you gonna do after you reach 2,000 elo? Is basically the question, said in a couple different ways. And guys, I'm gonna still do chess YouTube. Like, just because I hit 2,000 elo does not mean that I'm gonna stop uploading on chess or uploading on YouTube. I can't speak this morning, man. So like the chess content's not gonna stop, but what I'm thinking is I'm gonna do a variety of different videos. So there will probably still be some rapid games like my normal ones, but it's not gonna be every single day. We'll probably do a blitz push. You know, I'll probably cover some Grandmaster games. Like if there's interesting stuff in the chess world going on, I might do that. And I was also thinking that we could start a series where we look at like Grandmaster games and we try to learn from them, because I think that's a huge thing that a lot of people slack on, and it's myself too. Like, you should be learning from the best of the best, right? So why not take a position that you get into very often and see what the Grandmaster plays, see what their ideas and their plans are. So I was thinking like once a week we could look into like let's just say the Tartakower. I struggle with Tartakower plans, so let's look at some high-level Tartakower games and learn. Also maybe just educational stuff too, like learning new openings, because I don't know many. Maybe teaching you guys some of my repertoire. I don't know. It'd be on the fly. It'd be different. Maybe chess challenges. There's a world of possibilities for content. And I honestly think just uploading the same thing every single day has held me back in my growth a little bit. Although, we will get there. We're gonna hit 2,000 very soon. Very, very soon. And actually, that's another question. Do you think you'll hit 2,000 by day 365? The answer is no. We were so close. We were so close. We hit 1993. We were 7 points away, and then we threw it away. Threw it away. The day that I'm recording this on is like day 360, I believe it is. Something like that. So there's only 5 days. I'm at like 1909 right now. And it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, but that's okay. I tried, I failed, and we'll get it after that. Now let's go get gas and head off to the tournament. We got a long drive ahead of us. I say long, but it's only an hour. Some of you guys might be like, that's not long. For me, it's long, okay? I don't like driving for an hour straight. Full tank of gas, let's go! In the good old vibe. If any of you guys have, listen, if any of you guys can get your hands on a Pontiac Vibe, all right? These are the best reliable cars. This is my first car, and then I sold it because I wanted something better, but I should never have gotten rid of it in the first place. These things are sick. They're ugly, but they're reliable. That's what matters. Well, we arrived. It is 8:36, so we got here before and we found the place on time, and now I guess I will just do some opening prep, maybe on my phone using Chessable. I don't see why not. Can't hurt. I didn't prep at all for this tournament. I mean, I don't really think I needed to, or I didn't really think I needed to. But now that I have a little bit of time, I'm here. Might as well do a little bit of prep, maybe a couple puzzles on the phone. But yeah, I'm feeling a little bit tired still. Not too tired, but I think we're gonna do all right. You know, I'm predicting that we at least win 2 of the 4 games. I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be enough people that I'm going to be playing in the U1700. And if there's not, then I'll have to play in the Open. And there's a 2300 playing, so if I got paired up against them, that it's probably an automatic loss. But we'll see how it goes. I'm rated 1350 CFC, so I'm hoping that after this tournament, like with the provisionals ratings and whatnot, I can get up into the 1400s. But we'll see how it goes. And I'll show you guys the rating improvement or loss after the tournament too. So yeah, I mean, it's all I got for you now. I'm gonna play the first game and then we'll hop in. I'll probably tell you my thoughts afterwards the game if I have time, talking like this, and then we'll hop into a recap or something, get it edited in. I'm not sure I'm gonna structure this video. I'm kind of winging it, okay? So let me know if you like this style video. Yeah, that's all. Just finished up round 1 of my tournament, and we're gonna recap the game. Should be edited in here. If not, then I'm slacking or something, or we changed our mind. Yeah, we played a kid. This kid was probably like 10 or 11. I don't know. I feel kind of bad. I beat him pretty badly. I won a few pawns, and then it was kind of downfall from there. I got a lot of positional advantage, and I mean, he was just playing quickly. It's 45 plus 15, and he had like 30 minutes on the clock, and I had 20 in a completely winning position. So, also, shout out to Evan. We actually met a fan. There's a fan, someone that watches this channel. I don't know, maybe he's watching the video now. If he is, it was really cool to meet somebody in person who sees the channel. But yeah, that's insane to me. And hopefully we don't get paired up. If I get paired up against him, he's gonna know exactly what I do, because I mean, it's on the internet. You can literally watch and see how I think. So I would definitely have a disadvantage. But no, I'm feeling pretty good. It's hot as hell in there though. Oh my gosh, they need AC. Like, I'm already sweating, I stink. And it's only 11 a.m. Like, come on. Come on. I also, you guys might not know this about me, but I intermittent fast. So like, I don't eat in the morning, and I usually don't eat until like supper time, and I just drink coffee and water all day. I don't know how that's gonna work out today. I feel like after round 2, I'm gonna be extremely hungry, because chess takes it out of you. I must say. And also, over the board chess is crazy, man. It feels so weird. And I felt like I was like a beginner, almost. Obviously, I didn't play like a beginner, but I feel like I'm gonna miss something. I feel like I'm gonna miss something crucial in these games, or blunder really bad. But we'll find out. This is round 1. We got 3 more rounds to go. Hopefully 3 more wins. That would be sick. But one can only hope, right? One can only hope. Anyways, I'll see you in the recap, and probably if I have time to come out to my car and speak like this after the next rounds, I'll tell you my fresh thoughts. No, but overall, pretty happy with that game. I probably played with a pretty high accuracy, I would think, but we'll see what Stockfish says. Stockfish just likes to shit on everyone. All right, we got round 1 of my 4-game tournament. And as you can see, I start off with the white pieces here.
And we played this game with an 89.8, and my opponent played with an 81.4. I cannot pronounce this a name, so I apologize for that. But that was the kid who I played. And the game starts off with e4. All right, we got e4, baby. Of course, this is pretty obvious. And my opponent plays e5, and we play the Vienna. We don't know anything else. We are Vienna players. And they go here, and for a second, I thought we were going to get a copycat variation, but my friend plays knight f6, and I was like, at this moment, I was kind of like, okay, so he probably has studied some of these Vienna positions, because a lot of people will play like knight f6 and go bishop b4, and that's exactly what happens. So we develop the knight. This is in my prep still, and we're taking our time, but the kid is actually playing pretty quickly. So I was like, oh, okay, so he's probably prepped up, and I didn't know what his rating was. Still don't know what his rating was. Anyways, he castles, which I thought was correct. I thought this was the best move, and now we asked the bishop the question. We could have just castled, but I was like, a3 can't hurt. So we play a3. He goes bishop a5, and I was thinking, all right, so we can basically just play b4 and then knight a4 to take the bishop if we wish. But first, I was like, okay, this is a 15 or a 45-minute game. Let's castle. Let's just be safe. And that was kind of my goal of this tournament. I was like, I want to play safe and solid concrete chess. So that's exactly what I did. I just castled. He goes d6. Nothing wrong with that. Just keeping the pawn chain open, opening up his bishop. I thought it made a lot of sense. And now we go ahead and play b4. Obviously, he has to go bishop b6. There's no other move. The computer wanted me to play bishop here, and I did consider this move because I was like, you're just putting pressure on the knight and pinning it to the queen. It can't be a bad move, developing the bishop. The bishop usually in these positions doesn't really go on this diagonal, but I was thinking it might want to. So I didn't really want to commit it here, and then they can just like play h6 if they wish and then kick me away. So anyways, we opted to go bishop b2, which the computer thinks is a bit inaccurate, probably due to this structure, but I was like, meh. And also I mentioned earlier that we could just go after the bishop, but I don't know. I just felt like putting the bishop on this diagonal instead of going here. Other than that, I don't really know why I didn't play knight a4 right away, but he plays bishop b4 or bishop g4, sorry. And now we play knight a4 because he's kind of threatening to go here. I can't move the knight because this is pinned. So that was a little bit scary. So I was thinking, okay, we need to open this up so that we can take if possible. So he goes in with the bishop, which is wrong because we can just take, and after knight takes, we have f3, where on knight here, we have to give the bishop, and then he keeps this bishop, and it's just that bishop would be very, very strong. Although, now that I'm looking at this, we actually just have c3, and then the bishop's got to move. So I don't quite know why I didn't really see that. I just traded, which is a huge mistake. But I saw this. I saw f3, and I thought this was completely fine. So I went for it. He takes. I take with the queen, obviously. He slides back, which is wrong. And from this point forward, I was constantly thinking of g4 and having to remind myself, all right, bro, you need to chillax. You don't need to just throw your pawns forward and attack. You need to just play concrete chess. So I just bring the knight. The computer wanted me to go here just to get out of this pin, probably, because there are tactics potentially here if this pawn were to move because of the pin. But we wanted to move just So there's never any kind of forking idea. It's not possible right now, but in the future, I was thinking ahead of time. And then I was also thinking about how to prevent him from playing d5, and then I kind of just realized, after c6, I can't really stop him from playing d5. So we play rook to d1, and yes, this might look kind of silly, just like ultra pinning myself, but the idea was that on this, we're not going to take, we're going to move the bishop, and then he takes, and we're going to try to tempo the queen. That was the idea. And that's exactly what happens. He basically just played completely into my hand. He goes check. We play king h1. We keep the queens on the board. And yeah, I mean, the position's all right. Nothing crazy. He comes to the d file, challenging my rook. Now we tempo the queen because I was thinking, okay, where's the best square for my knight? It's here. Or, I mean, right now it's here. But he always has this push, but that kind of starts to weaken up his pawns. And the knight can potentially go here and put pressure on this pawn. He plays queen up, offering a trade. So he wants a queen trade, but this is when I was kind of like, this cannot be right, because after take, I just move the knight, and he's got doubled pawns. So this is exactly what happens. No, never mind. I don't go there. Excuse me. I go here. I go here looking for this square and attacking this. That's what I played, right? Just wait. Sorry. I actually, okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, never mind. Ignore me. I played knight c5, allowing this because I wanted to go here and attack this pawn. What the frig? I've just put, yeah, there we go. Question marks back. Put pressure on this, and the computer wanted me to go here. But I don't really understand. I know this is a thing, but can't he just play this? And obviously, we're looking at that square, but the knight controls it. But I guess even when the knight takes, the bishop goes there, and it's just never leaving. And his bishop sucks. I guess that's probably the point. Anyways, he attacks me. We trade first. I didn't want to go back immediately because I just wanted to trade. And I was looking at this tactic here because I was thinking he just like gets the rook. But apparently this is totally fine. Wait, rook takes d1 is a mistake? Oh, because it hangs this. King here and then you take? Now you're just up a pawn. Oh, wow. Okay. I missed that. So, yeah, that was the idea of taking the rook, was to get out of this pin first before retreating the knight. So now there's no tactic. And then he plays rook here, attacking my pawn, so we protect it. And then he plays a5. And at this point, I was like, this can't be correct. But I was a little bit scared of allowing this, because then I have to move the bishop, and then he can take. And then the rook's coming in. So I also didn't want to take, because after takes, I mean, he can just push the pawn, right? And attack me, try to deflect this. So instead, I played a4. And I thought this was pretty clever. Because if he takes, I just take back, and I mean, everything's protected. If he takes, he has doubled pawns. And if he takes this pawn, well, he's got triple pawns, and I just take here, this pawn's hit, and then when I go here, they're just easy targets. So he takes, I take, he goes knight back. He's protecting the pawn, because we're attacking it too. But we can just take this pawn, so that's what we do. Now we're up one pawn. He plays knight here. We put the bishop here first because we're looking to go here and just always protect this. And this bishop is just insanely good. Or go knight here or something. I think I was looking at like knight here to go fork him. I'm not 100% sure. I forget. But he goes knight back. What was he trying to do? I think he was trying to go here to trade this off or something. Or looking to go here to apply some pressure. One of those two things. Anyways, we jump the knight in. We hit this pawn. We threaten a fork. So my friend plays rook c7, and in this position, I do miss an opportunity to play rook a1. And don't get me wrong, I did see this. I saw rook a1 threatening mate, but I thought rook a1, he can just move. But he can't, because that would just be checkmate because of the knight. And rook a1, if he goes back, he gets forked. So rook a1, he probably has to make room, and then we can just come in. He comes up. It's kind of just chaos. So we opt for the solid move and just play c4. I was like, all right, look at this. Everything's protected. This bishop is literally a monster. My knight is a monster, controlling all the squares in his position. He goes knight here, trying to get rid of this bishop. Makes a lot of sense. But we just take the pawn. If he wants the bishop, sure, take it. I really don't care. This is protecting the pawn. But he just plays king here. I guess we're also looking at this, which doesn't really matter right now because he's protecting it 3 times. But, you know, we just have so much pressure. And then we play bishop up. This bishop is insane. The knight is great. He can kick it away, but, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're up 2 pawns now. 2-on-1. And amazing pieces. My bishop outplays his bishop by a long shot. So he goes rook to a7. After check, king here. We can just take the pawn, because if he infiltrates, the king is here, and we have knight to d5 check, forking the knight itself. So it hits the knight and the king. So it's and the knight's unprotected. So that's exactly what we do. We go check, he takes, he infiltrates, and we fork the king and the knight. And in this position, he grabbed it. We're playing touch move, and so he grabbed the king, and he grabbed it and then went to play king d6 and realized that I was forking his knight and just like threw it down and resigned. So yeah, we got the win there. It was a nice game, I felt. And yeah, that was round 1. So I'll see you in round 2.
Well, hello there. We just finished round 2. I went to the store. I got some sparkling water because I like sparkling water. Ooh. And some deodorant because I'm freaking sweating, man. It's hot in there. Like, it's actually ridiculous. They need an AC or something. There's like over 20 people in one room. Oh boy. Feeling very good after round 2. You know how I said that I met a fan of the channel? Well, we got paired up. And that game was awesome. And we are 2 out of 2 now. I'm sorry, Evan, for crushing you, but I'm not. And hopefully you guys enjoy this little recap of the game and learn something, potentially. No, I'm having a really good time. It's 1:30 p.m. now. Round 3 starts at 2:15. So I got about 30-ish or so minutes till round 3. I wish it was sooner because, man, I got an hour drive to go home. And round 4, but it's a lot of chess in one day. Jeez. And my phone's under 20%, so my phone's gonna die before I get home, which just sucks. It just sucks. I know I'll live without my phone. Some of you guys might not, but I can do without my phone. But it's just unpleasant. As long as I got my sparkling water, though. Do any of you guys like sparkling water? This is just like the unflavored, and it's in a glass. I like that it's in a glass. I like glass stuff. Do I always go for glass stuff? No, duh. But yeah, little bicep flex, and we're out. All right, we got round 2, and guess what? We got paired up against Evan, the guy who recognized me from my chess channel. And it's funny because I joked about
hoping I didn't get paired up against him because he would know exactly what I do or how I think or how I play. And as you can see from the accuracies on the screen, that is not really how it went. This game was decided by one singular mistake, and I capitalized immediately, and it just kind of went downhill from there. So, yeah, if you're watching this, Evan, great game. It was really awesome to play with you, and you're freaking yoked, man. Yeah, dude was jacked. Like, I think I'm kind of small. Like, I got some muscle, but bro he was huge. Anyways, we got E4. So first game we got the Vienna. Second game we get to play the Caro-Kann. This is like the most ideal thing for me because those are my two specialties, right? I love the Vienna. I love the Caro-Kann. So we get knight to c3, and I play knight d5. Now he could do a few things here. He could bring the other knight out, and we could transpose to a two knights attack, or he could push in the center, and that's what he chooses to do. And I always go for the Tartakower, and Evan invites it. He takes, and we get this position. He plays knight f3. I go bishop d6, and he brings the bishop out. And I'm kind of worried here. I'm like, all right, so Evan probably knows exactly how to play against the Tartakower, because this is like the main line kind of stuff. A lot of people will play like c3 and go here before I have time to get the knight to f8, and it can just then I always push h5, and it creates a lot of weakness. And then maybe he would go long, but we castle, and he plays bishop e3, and I'm kind of a little bit relieved here because I was a little bit worried that he was gonna play c3, queen c2 really quickly. Not that it's like a losing position, it's just a little bit more challenging, in my opinion. But we get to play rook e8. He goes there now, but the difference is, and yes, the computer says put pressure immediately, which makes sense, because then he has to protect it like this or do something. Actually, yeah, why didn't I consider that? Bishop here, I mean, we're threatening to take, and win a pawn. So he would probably have to play there, and he just played this to play queen here, so... Actually, bishop here, queen here. Wait, let's look at the engine for this. I go bishop here. He's going to play, like, one of these two moves. Let's say he does this, because that's what the engine says is the best move. What if we just play queen e7? Oh, no. Okay, never mind. Excuse me. He can't take right now, though. So then we just develop, and he can just castle either way. But there's always a pin on the queen, which is why I kind of think that this would be a better move. But then this is always pinned, and now queen e7. And he's going to lose a pawn, basically, is what's going to happen. Say he long castles, bishop takes. It says queen takes, but I mean, yeah. He goes here, and then we can just take. And we probably have to play, like... I imagine we just play king f8, yeah. And we're just up a pawn. So maybe that could have been pretty good. But anyways, we just developed the knight because we want to meet queen c2 with knight f8. If there's a knight on f8, there is no mate. Yeah, so we get this position. I'm going to drink some water. He just castles. We bring the bishop out. Now, bishop back, probably to set up the battery, but the way that I like to play my positions are kind of like this. I play rook c8. Yes, queen... It says set up the battery, but so many times I get this battery, and then the bishop's just in the queen's way. And I was thinking, there's no way for him to force the trade of bishops if I get the queen here and the bishop back here. So why not just take a little extra time and go for that? So he plays b3, which I was thinking in the game, I was like, this seems so slow and not right. It's not a bad move, but I mean, the plan is obvious, right? He wants to start pushing the pawns. He wants to go like this. But if he plays here and here, that's two moves. And in those two moves, I get this and this. So I go bishop back. Once again, the computer says queen c7. I had a clear idea when I put the rook there, so we're gonna stick to our plan. And now he brings the other rook. Reasonable move in my opinion, just bringing all the pieces. It already wanted a reroute because it saw my future plan, which is this. So it wanted to go here and here. Because in this position, Evan makes a huge mistake and plays c4. He's continuing with his plan, but my plan has to do with this, and I'm not worried about these pawn pushes. So now we play bishop g4, and he has a huge concession here, because if the knight gets removed, this is a problem. So what do you do here? Well, the computer says to come out this way, but I don't see how that really changes anything from what he did. He just played bishop here, and this is the position we got, I believe, right? I believe that's what we played. c4, bishop there, bishop back, takes, and then we come in with check. And we've won a pawn. But in the Tartakower, when the queen comes in like this, there can be so many issues that arise. So king f8 or king f1 is obviously forced. And now I'm trying to think of like, all right, obviously if we give a check, it's just stupid. The king's just going to run away. So I was trying to think about how I can just apply more pressure over here. And I came to the conclusion that I need to bring the knight. Now that the bishop's off this diagonal, I can move the knight. I don't need to protect it here. And even if he did go back, like the queen protects that square and the knight guards it. So I play knight g6. And the idea is that I kind of just want to apply pressure here, basically. Also, the knight can maybe jump in at some point to attack the bishop. And this, you never know. There's always ideas. And this is basically pinned to checkmate. Because if the bishop were to move, this becomes cut off, and this is checkmate. So he plays here, and this is a huge mistake. And you know how I just said that if the bishop moves, well, then it's checkmate? Yeah. Well, I realized that, but for some reason in this position, I completely overlooked because I was calculating so many things. Like check here, takes. What else was I looking at? I forget all the things I was looking at, but I was looking at a lot of stuff. And at the end of the day, I came to this because I saw he was attacking my rook. And I was calculating like here to go here and try to put pressure down this file. But as soon as I played rook c7, I realized, I was like, oh dang, I missed the winning move. And that move is knight here. And I saw this immediately after I made my move, even though I actually stopped and calculated for, you know, a little bit of time. And this is just so crushing because he can't take. For one, it's protected twice, but for the threat of checkmate. And you're threatening this, which is checkmate. So you need to stop the mate threat. And the only way to do that is by playing f3, says the computer. And after f3, you have a beautiful sacrifice here. Because if the rook takes, you actually just give a check. And this is now covered, so you just win the queen. And it's mate in 6, apparently. But you're just up a queen, so... Also, there's a fork, like, so many things. But... we go for this. It's still completely winning, but I was a little bit upset with myself. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of like, God, dang it. I was just... yeah. Missed the winning move, realized it, but then I was like, we're still winning. It's okay. It's just not going to be as clean. And yes, guys, I was very aware I'm not going to get my queen trapped. I was looking at this too, but I saw that after rook here, he's got to do something with the queen because, for one, we're threatening to take the bishop and just win it outright because there's a pin on the queen. So I figured he has to move the queen to somewhere that was going to be protected. And he chooses to go here. And then we sacrifice the bishop. The engine says that this is actually more accurate. which I want to look at this line. If rook takes, pawn takes, then we come in and there's no mate because of the knight. But where's the checkmate? There's no checkmate. And now he starts coming in. This actually looks very, very scary. I'm not going to lie. The computer says this is +3. But I mean, I say it's scary, but the king literally has 0 moves. So I guess, I don't know. It looks like he's going to have some counterplay, though, in my opinion. But we take, he takes, we take. We exchange all this, and yes, I had this calculated before. We just go here, and he had to bring the queen back, otherwise he's just going to be completely losing. Because we're threatening to go here and here, which is mate. So he brings the queen back, and then I saw queen h1, queen g1, takes, and then we have a fork. And now we just win the piece. And we have extra pawns. He tries to create some counterplay here. But before I took this pawn, I calculated that my king was in time. And yeah, I mean, he attacks the rook. We fork the pieces. We fork our own rook with their king. Pretty gangster. And then we bring the king. And after I played h5, there's just no play for him. So he resigned. And yeah, it was a good game. Very good game. I'll see you for 3 and 4. All right, we got round 3 here. We're playing the white pieces, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, so I'm going to call him Tail. Forgive me. Okay. So we got e4, and bro plays the Caro-Kann against me, and I saw this, and I'm like, yes! I love playing against the Caro-Kann, right? Sometimes, but just I love the Tal variation of the Caro-Kann in the main line, and I figured we're playing over the board, so he's gonna play probably the main line. Now I say that, but I wouldn't play the main line. Anyways, we get exactly that, and I go h4, and he plays h6, and I'm like, oh man. I know this is a little bit arrogant to say, but I was like, I'm gonna crush this guy. I'm gonna crush him. And now I go g4, and this is just a good feeling. Like, I know this is book, and I know it's studied, like, but it just felt so good to just fling my pawns like that over the board, being 100% comfortable with the moves. Because sometimes you make like these super aggressive moves, and you're like, yeah, I don't know, that might not be. Nah, we went h4, g4. With our head like held high. I was using no time, and he plays bishop h7, and I'm like, oh man, e6. Oh man, we're coming in. He takes, and then I play bishop d3. I didn't pull up the review. Forgive me. I played with a 92.5. He played with an 80.1. It was another really good game. We had a great tournament. And yeah, so we got this position, and he brought the knight out here. You're supposed to take and just kind of accept that you're going to lose that bishop, right? But he develops, and then we take, and then he takes back with the knight, and we bring the queen up, and I know from studying this position that it's just crushing for white. I don't think I convert this like in the best possible way, but we keep the advantage relatively good. He plays queen up. He should have moved it 1 square farther, but I'm sure that he was already like kind of flustered, like, what the hell is this guy doing? So we come in for check. Knight f3 is just crushing here. And the point is that like the check can just kind of wait a minute, and then you can come here with tempo. So the way when the queen is here and the knight arrives on e5, it can hit this, and it threatens to go here. So if I play this, I mean, he's already got to start moving the king. Because if he goes here, we just go check. He goes here, we attack the queen, and we're coming in, right? Like, if he goes here, we just go check. And once this happens, we just win a rook, right? And we've had positions like this many, many times. So maybe it was a little bit rushed. We should have took a little bit longer and thought about it, but I was like, queen check cannot be a bad move, and it's not the worst move in the world. Is still +2. So now we bring the knight. We just did it in reverse, right? Because now before this, he can actually challenge the queen, which is what he does. He finds the best move. And this is why it's important to do it in reverse order, and that's why we're going to remember that. We don't take the queen trade. Peter says go h5, assuming after takes, you hit the knight, knight's got to come here, and I mean, you just have such a hold on his position. But I figured queen takes, we get our pawn back, we're slicing through the position, that knight's coming here, we're probably going to get a fork, like, yeah, I mean, he went knight here, and I had a brain fart, okay? I was thinking, I looked at that move, and I was like, did he blunder mate and won? Wait, what? And I was looking at this check. It only for like 20 seconds. I was like, oh, did he just blunder mate and won? And I was looking at this, and then I'm like, oh no, those are queens. That's a queen, you idiot. Have you guys ever done that? Have you tried to check a queen? Because I have. Yeah, no. Anyways, we weren't playing instantly at this point, so it's all right. It's all right. We just developed the bishop. I mean, look at this diagonal. We cut this square off from the king, which can't be bad. The knight there was kind of annoying because it stopped me from coming here, and my whole idea was to try and come here to fork him. And so he kind of plays into it, right? I mean, he's now wanting my bishop to move, so we attack it with tempo. I didn't really feel like taking, allowing his knight to come here. Although if he took with the knight, I can just take. Never mind. Yeah. I guess takes. We can just win the pawn. Anyways, we went here. We were in attack mode, so I was like, me attack, rook. He takes, and then we get our fork, and he goes bishop there. We give the check. We take the rook because, you know, free rook. Well, exchange, I should say. But I mean, like, if he takes with the queen, we have this check, which is going to be kind of devastating. So he's going to have to take with the bishop. And then we'd probably just, like, play c3. But he offers a queen trade. And I was like, bro, what? Like, obviously I didn't say bro, what? But I was so shocked here because I just take and then save the knight. And now I'm just up a full rook rather than the exchange. And I'm like super confident now. He takes, we just attack it. He goes bishop back. We develop the knight. I was thinking of all kinds of things, like just bringing the rook and I don't know, just trying to attack him. But I was like, no. Develop, castle, bring the pieces, and just slowly outplay him. You have the time. So he just gets his knight into play, and I did not want to allow his knight to come here and have any kind of counterplay with it like this. So I just play this. We protect the pawn, and now there's never any possibilities of this kind of stuff. He attacks the knight. We just simply protect it. We could have got out of there, but I was thinking, like, the knight's actually pretty good here. Yes, it's kind of on the edge of the board, but like it's looking at this pawn. There's potential like checks here. It's doing all right. And yeah, so we didn't worry about it. We just protected it, pushed the pawn through. Now those pawns can't move. And he plays king d6. We castle, which now he's in a pin. So the whole idea of castling this way, other than just, you know, look at these pawns advanced, was that the rook just becomes active immediately. And the more trades I get, the better. So now I'm threatening check to just trade off the bishop. He pushes the pawn. He probably should have came in and pinned me. check. And it was funny. In this position, he actually tried to play bishop c5, and I was like, no, you're in check. And then he realized, yeah, that now I'm trading the pieces. So he plays king c7, we take, and he takes with the pawn. I thought he was going to take with the king. I thought that was the whole point of going here with the king. Although, now that I'm looking at the position, he can't go to these squares, so you wouldn't really want to come here anyways, but I thought he was going to try and go this way or something. I don't know. Anyways, pawn takes. We bring the other rook. Now we're attacking this. He has to bring the king back to protect the pawn. And we play c4 because we just want to trade everything off. He counterattacks. And we take this pawn. I was thinking about which pawn's better to take. And I ultimately decided that taking this way was alright because he's going to get doubled pawns like this. And if I take that way, he can either take with the knight, which probably isn't that great actually. Well, there's no way to actually apply more pressure. So yeah, if I took this way, maybe he takes with the knight. But either way, I guess he would have been getting doubled pawns unless he wanted to take like this and then... Yeah. Anyways, you get the point. We take, and he plays here first, and I was calculating if he could take this pawn after takes, and he can't because he's just not in time to protect this. Although I guess he has king here, but it's still just like, yeah, now we come in. So, takes, and then I play a3. It's not really necessary to protect the pawn, but once again, just prevent counterplay. He comes in with the rook, we slide up, because I just want to put a lot of pressure on this pawn and win it. He pushes, I go here, he pushes again, which is just a complete losing move because the knight's going to hang. But we don't care about the knight. We play b3 here. And yes, computer says just take the knight. But how do you stop the mate, man? Like I guess you can go knight here. No, you can't. Oh, then knight e7. Yeah, how do you stop the mate then? Rook c4. You have to start sacrificing pieces. You guys saw that. The computer said that this was the best move. And now it's correcting itself. I'm smarter than Stockfish. I'm smarter than Stockfish for one very small second. Yeah, I guess he can play this, I guess, but probably still the same thing. Here. And then king d2. Okay, 6. Yeah, now it's just sacrificing. We're threatening to go mate. We're threatening to mate on that square, so if he just takes, there's just this, and wada bing, wada boom. Oh. But yeah, so he goes here, we take, he comes up, and then we push the pawn, and he takes, and we checkmate him in the center of the board. That one felt pretty good, not gonna lie. This was a nice little mating net setup that I found, and I liked it. I'll see you in 4. All right, round 4, final round, and we are playing for first or second place in the under 1700 section. So this game, as you can see on the screen, was a draw. And I want you to keep something in mind. This was a one-day event, okay? We started at 9:30 in the morning, and this game started at like, I don't know, I forget what time it even was now. It was like 5 p.m., something like that. So it was a long day of chess. I was exhausted. I was tired. I had 5 hours sleep. And so I kind of just wanted to get out of there ASAP. And yeah, bro pulled up and played super solid chess. Like, this was by far the hardest game I had of the tournament. And I talked to him afterwards, and he said that he's like 1450, 1500 online, and that shocked me. Because I felt like I was losing the entire game. Like, just straight out the opening. And honestly, Stockfish agrees with me. So I was kind of happy to see that I had the understanding that, my position is worse. Now, I don't want worse positions, but I'm kind of happy to see that I could evaluate that and like, I had the sense that I was worse. And so he plays e4, we play the Caro-Kann. This time we get a 2 knights attack, and this is one of the probably better ways to play against the Caro-Kann. We take, he takes, we bring the knight out. We're trying to kind of transpose to the Dart Tower, but he plays queen e2, and in this position, I play e6. E6 is a bad move because you permanently lock in this bishop. But I was thinking of like before I played e6, I was thinking of this position here, and I completely like brain farted that, I can just do the same thing that I always do against the 2 knights attack, which is like, I don't know, sometimes they'll bring this out. I think is this actually the line? Like, I think this is actually the line. And then they go knight e5. Yeah, this is the 2 knights attack where if they sack the queen. I actually genuinely don't know why I didn't play like this, because this, you guys probably know this. Against the 2 knights attack, I always play this. Always. But from exhaustion and whatnot, I kind of just thought that if I bring the bishop out or trade, for some reason it's just wrong. Right? So we play e6. And this is the start of a very long defending game, because that bishop is a problem. He plays d4 here, and he should have just took the bishop or the knight. And my idea was that I'm just going to be developing if he did that, right? I was just fine with this, but apparently then d4, and I'm supposed to move the queen for some reason. No, never mind. Then I developed the knight. Yeah, I mean, this just is so super cagey. It's not really my style, to be honest. But he goes there. Then we develop the other knights. He applies a little bit of pressure. Now he takes, and I take. Kind of what I wanted here. Relieve a little bit of the tension. And I was thinking he might go ahead and long castle here, and I was a little bit worried. Not gonna lie. But he just plays g2, or g3, sorry. Because he wants to solve the issue of this bishop, because the queen's in the way. But I thought that long castle here looked really good, because then he's lining the rook up with the queen, and I was actually pretty worried. But he doesn't do that, thankfully. And then we play h6. We're just asking the bishop the question, especially now that he's played this, because he's either got to go... He's got to go this way. He can't go back here and keep this, or take. And nobody wants to take. So he goes bishop f4, and then we tempo the bishop. Well, it is a tempo. We're threatening to ruin his structure and just get the bishop. And I want that bishop. I was like, I'm not letting the bishop stay on this diagonal. I just can't do that, right? Now, I almost thought that he might play this. And then I would probably have to play something like bishop f6 to trade it off. But he just goes back. I'm kind of curious, is this even a good move? No, then it says f6. Yeah, I might have found f6, actually. I don't mind moving my f-pawn. Some people are a little bit like skeptical of it. I don't mind it. So maybe after a little bit of thinking, I might have found that. But... yeah, we just castle, and now I'm starting to feel a little bit better. He develops the bishop to g2. If he didn't develop the bishop there, then g3 was just a stupid move. But I thought that my pawn structure, despite having a really bad bishop, kind of counteracted the strong bishop on this diagonal. So I was like, all right, it's not the end of the world, but how are we ever going to activate this bishop? Like, that's what I was thinking this entire, like, every single move. I'm just like, what are we gonna do? I'm just losing. Like, that's what I'm saying to myself. I'm just losing. And then we go knight here. We're trying to, like, I don't know, attack a little bit. We don't have the bishop out, but yeah, I'm threatening a fork. Also, it's protected. Like, if he goes here, he gets forked. So, you know, if he gives me the bishop, I'm just kind of happy in this position. He's going to play here. And then I'd probably, I don't know, bishop d6 or bishop e7, one of the two. Probably, I don't know if I would have went to the diagonal. It says it's the best move, but staring at these pawns, I might have actually went all the way back, which is worse, but I might have played this instead. But yeah, he goes queen c4, and honestly, I didn't even consider queen c4. And I saw that, I was like, dang it. I just wanted him to give me the bishop. Like, straight up, that's what I wanted. So he plays queen there, and it's a mistake. But it's a mistake because you have queen here. And the point is, you can't take the knight, because then bishop takes the queen, and you can't take this way because queen takes, so the knight's not hanging. And if you get a queen trade, it's probably going to benefit you a little bit because you can just take, and now you can maybe get that bishop active on a good diagonal. So I didn't quite see that, but you know, we went queen b6 because we needed to protect the knight, or so I thought. And I wanted to apply a little bit of pressure this way. X-ray, attack this pawn. He castles correctly. And then we play a5 here because I wanted to protect this. But I also was thinking of ideas of like moving the queen and playing here and trying to go for the skewer if he was not careful. Now I was also just thinking of like, I need to push the pawn somehow. I need to get the bishop out. I need to do something with the bishop. Like I said, constantly in my head, I was like, I'm just losing. Losing's an exaggeration. I thought my position was worse. And it is. I know it's all because of this bishop. If the bishop was here, I think that'd be a different story. But now he attacks the knight. We have to go back. There's no other move. Like, you have to play knight d5. And then he brings the rook, and it's pretty apparent that he wants to push the pawn. So we just get out of the way, you know, just preemptively. And we're going to try for this plan that I mentioned previously. He jumps the knight in. And I thought this was, you know, just a good move. And I was like, oh, man. Oh, man. I can't let the knight stay there. I just can't. That knight will just cause problems in my position forever. So we play bishop to f6 with the idea of just trading it. And at this point, I'm playing for a draw. Like, in my head, mentally, I'm like, I'm worse this whole game. I will be happy if I can just draw the game. If I can just trade down and draw the end, like the game, I'll be happy. Which is a bad mindset to have, but that's kind of where I was at. And he protects it, and I just take. I'm like, all right, just get out of here. I don't want to deal with you. And I was looking at like ideas of pushing the pawn, but then he comes here and he forks the pieces, and yeah, it's just, that knight's so strong. So I was just like, all right, see ya. And then we play b5, attacking the queen. And I was kind of a little bit scared to do this because I was like, oh man, maybe we're going to end up overextending our pawns. But then I was like, there's no real way to take advantage of it right now. And like, as long as the knight's here, the pawn's going to be protected. And I mean, this bishop is going to be really hard to deal with if I ever move the knight. So yeah, we just, we wanted the queen to go away, keep the knight where it is. And he goes here, he's threatening this, so we need to deal with it. Once again, I'm playing very reactively. We haven't really caused any huge threats to him. He's got all the initiative. He's the one playing the cards. So I was just like, I felt very defeated here. And I play king h8, not a bad move in my opinion. Computer says go f5 to protect the pawn. Makes sense. But yeah, then he goes here, and this is where he starts to lose his advantage. Like, he has a 1.5 advantage according to Stockfish, which in my opinion makes a lot of sense. This bishop is very active. He's got this bishop, the queen's here, the rook's here. This is the only piece that's really not all that great in my opinion. And this rook hasn't moved. This bishop is stuck behind everything. This knight looks pretty, but it's not really doing too much. My queen's staring at a stupid pawn. Like, my pieces suck. Like, just straight up. So I was like, all right, draw, draw, draw. So I was like, trade, trade, trade. And he trades, I take. He brings the other rook. It was the only piece that wasn't really, like, super good. I bring the bishop up. The bishop finally, on move 23, gets to a square that is half decent. And he trades. And I was like, oh, this can't be right. And I will say, I had a big time advantage. I think he was down like 10, 15 minutes on the clock, something like that. And yeah, so I think he also started to think like, well, I know what he was thinking because we talked afterwards. He was just thinking that, you know, it was kind of equal the whole game and that it was like just going to be a drawish endgame. And he's correct in this position. He had to keep the pieces on if he wanted to play for an advantage. According to Stockfish, I mean, I don't know. But I felt like trash in the game. I'm going to say that. And yeah, so he trades, goes here, takes the knight, and this was basically him offering a draw. Basically. I say basically, but it's like, all right, if you take like that, then it's going to be a draw. Because he's got a dark squared bishop, I have a light squared bishop, 2 rooks, same pawns. Like, this is drawish endgame. You can be down like 2 pawns in a opposite colored bishop endgame and still draw. Keyword is can, potentially. Doesn't mean that you would, but there's high drawing chances in opposite colored bishops. And here I had a choice. Take with the pawn, like which pawn do I take with, right? Or do I take with the rook? And since I was in the mindset of I want to draw, I was like, let's take with the bishop. Now, if I wanted to play for any kind of advantage, which I did think about, it would have been to take with the rook and then double up. But I was like, all right, if we just keep everything solid and then play like this, or get a bishop here, or like just my bishop is probably going to become alive at some point, or even play like this and slice through. I don't know. I was just thinking takes. I just can't lose this. This is what I was thinking, which is not right because I've lost like much better positions than this. But he goes here. He's threatening to go here and fork the pawns. Or the pawn and the rook, if I were to move this. Which doesn't actually work right now, I guess. Because it's protected, so I would just move this, but I guess now he could have, yeah, why didn't he play this? Whoa, okay, so he actually missed an opportunity there. Takes. Oh, no. Wait, here. What if I just go like this? If he takes, we coming in with the rook. So maybe that's why he didn't do it. Yeah, I would say that's why he didn't do it on that move. But he mentioned that he was looking at this at one point. I don't know if it was this move, but yeah, anyways, we go here. He protects the pawn, and then we push the pawn, and he offers a draw. Well, he plays this and then offers the draw. And I accept. I was like, all right. I feel like I'm worse here. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that I'm worse, in my opinion. Look at like my pawns do not complement my bishop at all. At all. So I was like happily. I was very happy. I didn't even really think about it. I was just like, yes, I accept. Yes, I accept. And some of you guys might give me grief for that because there's still play here. But I felt like I was not really the one playing for the win or advantage. And I'll explain why I played a4. It was not because I saw this. I'll be totally honest. I didn't see the bishop move. But I was thinking just in the end game that I'm controlling this pawn push or any kind of pawn push. I think it's a decent move, just locking these 3 pawns so they can't move. But Stockfish disagrees, and yeah, we both tied for first place, which was awesome. We got a little prize, $75 each, paid for the gas for me, and a great day, meeting great people, playing awesome chess. This was a really good tournament, and I'm very happy with how I performed because like we made no huge mistakes. I don't even think I blundered once. Like no blunders. And each game was around 90% accuracy, which is pretty great. Now, yes, I'm probably a little bit underrated because 1350 CFC, I don't know how close that is to 1900 online. I'm probably more so like a 1700 CFC, but I need to play the games to get the rating. And if I just play a bunch of 2200s, like I'm not going to gain the rating. So, yeah, I'd like to play some over the board, gain some rating, and then challenge myself. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how much rating I gain from this. It's not out yet, but when it is, I'm definitely going to be looking at it, and it will be included in this video. So we're gonna hop over to that. All right, so here we are on my CFC account. Our rating updated, and we actually gained 106 rating points this tournament. So old performance was 1360. That's from five games. We scored 2 in my last tournament. And yeah, we had a performance rating of almost 1600. Not too bad for being in the U 1700. So we were playing a little bit lower rated players. And the new rating is 1466. And I'm excited because I'm going to definitely be playing more and trying to get this up. So, yeah, stay tuned for all the recaps. And I was looking at the score, and we actually played basically all the top people. We played David, Evan, Edric, and we played Martin. So the person who came first, well, we tied for first technically, but I would say that they played some stronger opponents, I guess, so they get first place. And then Evan, so we played first, third, fourth, and 7th place. And yeah, it's awesome. I had a great time, and I can't wait to do more. So yeah, if you enjoyed the recap, little video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you another time. My voice kind of cracked.